Today, there has been a change in me, and I am really clear on three things, and I'm going to share them with you in just a minute. First, you've heard me talk about Jace case from Jace Medical. There is trouble coming. There's like 5 or 6 stories in my show prep today about, we're going to give new arms to Taiwan. Well, that's going to be really great. China's going to love us for that. How China and North Korea and Russia were all meeting together and watching missile launching. That's fantastic. It's really fantastic. Forget about just the casualties of war. If we go into a Cold War with China, they control most of the drugs that we take because they make them. Because we're so stupid, we won't make them here. 5 of our most important antibiotics for emergency use, you can get a Jace case, and you could stay in your home. And I'm telling you, we have already used it. We used it just on vacation. Kids came down with something. We had the product. We got home. We called the doctor, and everything was great. Now, they're also doing a new prescription supply service that allows you to get up to a 12-month backup supply of your prescription medication just in case of an emergency or a shortage. Bunch of medications, things like your cholesterol, diabetes, heart health, blood pressure, mental health. It is so important that you have access to these because things are changing in America, as you will clearly see in those 3 things here in just a minute. You can get it at jacemedical.com. That's jacemedical.com, and enter the promo code Beck at checkout for a discount on your order. That's jacemedical.com, promo code Beck. One other thing, to be prepared for this, one of the things to do is to prepare medically. Got it. Spiritually, we'll talk about it in a second, and physically. We have to prepare because what they're doing to our farmers alone. Remember, they're reinventing the entire food system from seed to fork. Those are their words, not mine. So these eggheads, who none of us elected, are going in and changing everything. Let me tell you, there will be shortages of food, at least temporarily, in America at some point. Massive grain deal just was canceled by Russia. Our world is facing food shortages, and you don't need to be a part of that. Please go to My Patriot Supply, get their 3-month supply right now of emergency food, just in case something happens. It's mypatriotsupply.com. Mypatriotsupply.com. Get a 3-month emergency food kit, and you'll save 25% right now. Mypatriotsupply.com. All right. Three things that I know are true today, that I've known perhaps, but I've given benefits of the doubt, etc., etc. But 3 things that are true. First one, people in our government are completely and possibly legally, in many cases, incompetent. We have a president who is a bumbling fool. You don't know if he's there or not at times. This is normal for a person of his age. None of us would give the keys to that man to drive our car home. Do you agree or disagree with that? None of us. We would be wildly irresponsible if he said, well, it's been a nice evening, and can I borrow your car? And you give him the keys. It would be irresponsible of you. Yet he's running our country. And if he goes, it's Kamala Harris, who is not legally incompetent, but I think she thinks like a first grader. She's an idiot. But let's not talk about idiots. Let's just talk about total incompetence, legally incompetent. If I want to say something about Joe Biden's age and incompetence, and his inability to think straight, I would have to go back, if I was going to be fair, and talk about what happened with Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell this week just froze. That was a neurological event. I'm not a doctor. Well, I actually am, doctor in humanities, so I can treat anything in the human body. I'm not a doctor. But that was a neurological event. Something was happening up here. And that's not good. And have you noticed? He laughed it off, made a slam against Joe Biden, and none of the Republicans said anything. They won't even tell us if he's seen a doctor. This man is in charge of the Senate. He's supposed to be a check or balance on the administrative, which is completely out of control because the president isn't all there. So who's our check and balance? Another guy on the other side of the aisle that isn't there. But just to make it fair, let's go back to the Democrats again and Feinstein. I don't know if you saw this with Feinstein. Roll the tape with Feinstein.
Senator Feinstein.
They're taking a roll call vote.
Yeah.
Yay or nay?
I would like to support a yes vote on this. It provides $823 billion.
Now listen to the voices behind
it. An increase of $26 billion for the Department of Defense, and it funds priorities submitted.
Yeah, just say aye.
Okay, just
Great,
aye.
Thank you.
She had no idea. Yay or nay? No idea. That's not the first time. She has been in the elevator, not knowing where she's going. She's been on the floor of the Senate, not knowing what the vote was about. What the hell are we doing? And then if that's not bad enough, along with Mitch McConnell, along with Joe Biden, you have Fetterman. This is not only a human tragedy, all of those people, because somebody in their life doesn't love them enough to say, sweetheart, stay home. John Fetterman, if you think this job is making him better, you're mistaken. And let me tell you something. The other side of this, first, the families. Have you no regard for their dignity? Second of all, do you and everyone in both parties have any regard at all for the United States of America? So, they're incompetent. And the system likes it that way, apparently. It's never about who you're voting for. It's about which party. It's a machine, and it runs with imbeciles and those who are incompetent. Second, they're criminals. They are criminals. Mitch McConnell's taken money from China. Joe Biden's taken money from China. We're facing China in a possible war, and we have two groups of people, both parties, completely sold out to China. We have a president whose son got all kinds of money from China. He admitted that this week. It's no longer he said, she said. He said, and she said, you're taking money from China. Yes, I am. You have Joe Biden's son taking money from Ukraine, where hostilities have broken out since he got in. We know his son received money from the dirty people in Ukraine. We know that the government of Ukraine is the most corrupt in the world. That's not me exaggerating. That's me stating a fact. It is known as the most corrupt government in the world, and we're sending hundreds of billions of dollars over there. It's all going to be money laundered. We have no idea where that money is going, and yet the guy who was taking money from Ukraine and putting it into one of his offshore accounts for his children and grandchildren, except for one, is the guy sending the money over now. Okay. All right. Okay. Then you not only have that, in this corrupt government, you have seen the DOJ make all kinds of blatant political moves. You have the most investigated guy ever, Donald Trump. You can't find anything on him, so you have to first impeach him on a phone call. Then you have to make it look like January 6th was his fault. And yet the DOJ can't give us any details on a lot of stuff that happened on January 6th. Like, where's the pipe bomb? Where's the pipe bomber? What happened to him? Why can't you find him? Why can't you find the people that were leading the crowd on the scaffolding? You have photos of them. You're telling me you can't find that person now? Really? Who is Ray Epps? Somebody that clearly egged the community on, said we got to go into the Capitol. And yet the New York Times and DOJ, they love that guy. They love that guy. Huh. That's interesting, isn't it? Then today, after they put Donald Trump, give him 3 new indictments, the guy is only being persecuted because he stood up against the machine on both sides. He stood up against the machine. So what do? You teach everyone, don't you ever do that to us. Don't you ever do that to us. We will destroy you and your family and your business, and we damn well might put you in jail. Then the other guy who decides to do the same thing, except from the left, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a guy who's got a little family history of assassinations, a guy who the left now hates, the administration hates. He's now running, and today we find out that he filed a 67-page dossier that outlines the threats on his life, not the common, everyday, I'm going to kill you, actual threats to his life. He's running for president. It is common to turn around Secret Service within 14 days. He waited 88 days. And then when they pushed and said, hey, what's the holdup here? Mayorkas came out and said, you don't get any Secret Service. We don't think you need it. That's customary for somebody running for president. A Kennedy running for president in this atmosphere? I don't know. I say we give them all Secret Service protection. But do you even trust the Secret Service? Why? Because they've done cover up after cover up after cover up. Number one, they are incompetent, legally incompetent. Number two, our government is criminal. Criminal. And number three, I want to be very careful and not say the people, but the actions of our government are evil. Evil. There is no other way to address something that tells you you're nothing, you're nobody, or you're unforgivable because of your skin color. There is no equal justice. We're making justice ourselves through social justice to make all of the sins of the past go away, even though those people don't even exist. How do you tell children that you should cut off your private parts, or you should stop the development of your body and never be able to start it up again? So you will never have children, ever. Because at 13, you decide something. And the government protects that? Evil. A government that sees The Sound of Freedom being the number one picture in the country, followed by number 2, beats Mission Impossible on the weekend. And that same week, what do? Take down all of the hunt for pedophiles. Start to discredit those who say that there's smuggling of children for sex crimes in America. Evil. You are dealing with an incompetent, yet extraordinarily arrogant, criminal, evil system. Learn the exact opposite lesson that they're trying to teach. You do matter. You matter. God is not some government or some algorithm. God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I will not sit down, nor will I close my heart like they have closed their hearts on people, their own people, and use them, no matter the toll on their physical body or reputation. God lives. He is involved. You were born for a reason. Stand up. Good night.